So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session and we will be providing PDF for you. We will be providing PDF. So Mohit, Pranjal, Ajay, Yamandi, Pooja, Vicky, Avatar, Rajeshwari, good morning. Just give me a minute. The PDF will be uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF. The PDF has been uploaded on our Telegram group. You can download the PDF from there. So we are here about to start the session. Pooja, Avatar Singh, Rajeshwari, Vanshika, WBHA, hi. Please, sir, start this topic. Prati Sharma, good morning. So, study friends, focus life. What exactly do you want me to teach? Vivek, good morning. So, sufficient number of people have already joined us. Let's start the session without wasting much time, and we will be looking into this statement by none other than Mahatma Gandhi. And before that, friends, I would like to tell you it's raining outside, so there can be a power cut. So in that scenario, we will try our level best that we will be able to provide services to you through our mobile network. Okay, so you have to be a bit patient in the sense that suppose in between if there is a hurdle or there is some, you can say, problem with the session, you have to just wait for 5 minutes or 2-3 minutes. I will be making some ad hoc arrangements. मुझे उतना time आपको देना पड़ेगा. Okay, so let's start this particular session here. Let's see what exactly is there for us. Now, this statement has been given by Mahatma Gandhi. So, good government is no substitute for self government. Now, you need to understand one thing. You have to understand few aspects here. First of all, what do you mean by good government? And why Mahatma Gandhi is focusing on the self government? So, here you have to link this particular statement with the concept of Gram Swaraj. Okay, Gram Swaraj, that was the goal of Mahatma Gandhi. This idea of Gram Swaraj was basically given by him. He wanted these village areas or village economy to become self-dependent. Okay, basically his idea was that the villages should be made self-dependent, and according to his thought process, only the decentralized idea of development should be there. Okay, that development should be completely decentralized, and Mahatma Gandhi used to tell that you need to focus on cottage industry. Okay, instead of just focusing blindly on the big industries. So instead of just blindly focusing on the big industries, you should focus on the cottage and small scale industry as well. So this is what Mahatma Gandhi used to talk about. Now you need to understand one thing, like this is the statement, very much this statement can be asked in your GS paper 4. Okay, that good government is not substitute for the self government. Why we say that good government is no substitute for the self government? So first of all, when we say good government, our primary focus is on the administrative arrangement. Okay, the structure of the government. सो जब हम गुड गवर्नमेंट की बात करते हैं तो उसका मतलब ये होता है कि हम बात कर रहे हैं एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की, स्ट्रक्चर क्या होगा, एम्प्लॉयज क्या होंगे, स्टाफिंग कैसी होगी, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. बट हियर वी आर नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेशन. If you are just focusing on the good government, okay, just focusing on the good government, yes, you may have best technology, you may have, adequate staff, structure is also fine, everything will be fine, but that angle of public participation will not be there. So, when we say self government, it means that people are to be made capable so that they can govern themselves. लोगों को इतना कैपेबल आपने बना दिया कि वो खुद ब खुद अपने आप को चला रहे हैं. That is what we call as self government. Okay, and that's the best way. And again, I am telling you, friends, when you talk about governance, okay, if public is not participating, if public is not with the government, you will not be able to provide governance. आप किसी भी हालत में governance provide नहीं कर सकते हो अगर लोग आपके साथ नहीं हैं. This is the most important message that you have to understand. It means that we have to make sure, the administration have to make sure that there is adequate public participation. The administration should be decentralized. जितना डिसेंट्रलाइज करोगे उतना अच्छा होगा. वाई डू वी से दैट द डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन इज रिक्वायर्ड? द मेजर फोकस is this, that you are taking administration nearer to the people. जनता के नजदीक लेके जा रहे हो आप एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को. That's the point here. Okay, that's the point here. So this is what you have to understand by this concept, that self-government, primarily we are focusing on public participation, we are focusing on decentralization of the governance activity. And here you have to link this concept with the idea of 73rd and 74th Amendment Act. We all know that 73rd and 74th Amendment Act was provided, okay, so that is in line with the decentralization. वो decentralization की line में है, that is in line with the self government, the idea that was suggested by Mahatma Gandhi. So again, in this type of question you have to look into the debate as well. Okay, debate was between the thought process of Nehru and Gandhi, because Mahatma Gandhi used to tell that, okay, we have to carry out decentralized governance, we have to make sure that villages are competent enough, you have to improve the capacity of the gram panchayats, etc. These were the Gandhian ideas. Contrary to that, Nehru ji used to say that we have to come out with the big industry, we have to come out with the heavy industry, big, you can say, units, etc., 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 urbanization. This is what Nehru was emphasizing. So this debate also have to be addressed. And finally, you have to conclude that both are somehow complementary to each other, Nehruvian ideas as well as the Gandhian ideas, because it is important. In a democracy, you need to have a strengthened grassroots level democracy. आपको एक चीज मेक श्योर करनी है कि ग्रास रूट के ऊपर जो है डेमोक्रेसी बहुत स्ट्रांग होनी चाहिए. Okay, so here we have the example of 73rd and 74th Amendment Act. So this is what you have to look into. These all things have to be incorporated in your answers. One thing you have to look into, ग्राम स्वराज वाला एंगल लेके आओगे, सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड गवर्नेंस, ओके, डेवलपिंग villages as the unit of development for the whole of India. All these ideas have to be explored, focusing on cottage industry, then looking into the debate Nehru versus Gandhi, and then you will be concluding this thing that both are complementary to each other. We know that decentralized arrangement is important. You have to take your administration nearer to the people, and that's why we have 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. Okay, so all these things have to be figured in this type of question. Again, I told you this statement can be asked in your GS paper 4. तो आपको इस चीज का आइडिया होना जरूरी है, ठीक है ना. आपको एडवांस में पता होना चाहिए that in which particular areas you are going to think. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now we'll move to the major newspaper section. So here we have this news: April export crosses $38 billion. Okay, deficit widens. Now these are the projections that we have here. So exports, definitely they are increasing, but you need to understand, like, if you compare it with the past, things are not that promising. Okay, so we'll look into this thing in detail. Isko thoda detail mein dekhte hain what exactly it is pointing out. It is saying that India exported merchandise estimated at $38.19 billion. Okay, from last year if you see, it has been an increase, but 9.5% lower than the record 42.2 billion shipped in the March. If you compare it with the March past months data, it is less. Last year से थोड़ा data आपको अच्छा नजर आ रहा है. The major reason is this, because this time we don't have lockdown and all, and that's why your economy is moving in right direction. Okay, though the growth rate potentials have been reduced, growth rate potentials जो हैं वो आपके down हो गए due to multiple reasons. Okay, due to Ukraine Russia crisis is also one of the reason. So all these statistics are there in front of you. Then you have trade deficit, however, expanded to 20 billion, okay, from 18.5 billion in March. Now why this trade deficit has increased? Because you need to understand, at present, earlier we were just importing the fossil fuel. Okay, fossil in the sense, primarily I'm talking about petroleum products. So earlier we were focusing on petroleum products, but right now, due to the major power crisis that is going on, we also had to import the coal. आपको coal भी बहुत large amount में import करना पड़ा. This is also the reason why you can say your import is increasing. इस वजह से भी आपका import जो है वो increase हो रहा है. Okay, this is the altogether reason. Now these are the statistics that are there in front of you. Okay, definitely import हमारा पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट्स की वजह से भी बढ़ेगा, एंड इट्स अ बर्डन ऑन अस. ओके, इट्स अ बर्डन ऑन अस. दिस इज द पॉइंट हियर. So here Avtar Singh is asking, sir, can we use here the example of Atmanirbhar Bharat in Gandhiji's idea of self-government? Nee, you need to understand, when you talk about self-government, your prime focus should be on the grassroots level, you can say village level development. Gandhian idea was primarily on the village level. Atmanirbhar, I don't think it will be a good idea to link. Okay, Atmanirbharta, I don't think it will be a good idea to link. So you have to be focused on things which are precisely in line with the Gandhian idea. So Gandhi used to talk about the decentralized governance. Okay, तो यहाँ पे आत्मनिर्भरता मुझे फिट होता नजर नहीं आ रहा है. ठीक है ना? So this is the point here. So we'll move to the next particular news item. So here we have this news: US Supreme Court to annul the abortion rights. Okay, so this is the major, you can say, debate that is going on. Now this is also a debate related to ethics, that is your GS paper 4. See, the point is this: what's wrong with the abortion? Abortion के अंदर गलत क्या है यहाँ पे? Okay, so Mr. like Joe Biden, he called upon American voters on Tuesday to defend the fundamental right to abortion after a leaked draft suggested that the Supreme Court is going to strike down the long-standing decision of Roe versus Wade, okay, where the woman's right to terminate the pregnancy was protected. Now this is the development and this is the debate. Should abortion be allowed? Okay, should abortion be allowed? The point is this: we also had one of the bill that was proposed, maternity टर्मिनेशन बिल 2020. ओके, तो इन इंडिया के कंटेक्स्ट में भी ये डिबेट चल रही है. सो देर आर सम एथिकल, यू कैन से, पॉइंट्स दैट वी हैव टू लुक इनटू. नाउ इफ यू आर सेइंग दैट अबॉर्शन शुड बी अलाउड, देन आई एम सेइंग दैट व्हाट अबाउट द राइट ऑफ द अनबोर्न चाइल्ड? Okay, what about the right of the unborn child? Like, no one is asking that particular child that whether you want to survive or not. कोई भी उनसे सवाल नहीं कर रहा है. This is the point. Another angle that I would like to bring is the case related to Savita Halalankar. Okay, so she was a Indian origin woman and she died due to pregnancy complication, as at that time Irish law didn't allow abortion. अब आयरिश लॉ अबॉर्शन अलाउ नहीं करता था, इसीलिए डॉक्टर्स कुड नॉट अबॉर्ट हर. देयर वाज सम प्रेगनेंसी रिलेटेड कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी. ओके, इट वाज अ जेन्युइन केस. सो whether abortion should not be allowed in those cases as well. Suppose if abortion is mandatory to save the mother's life, क्या हम उस केस में भी abortion नहीं allow करेंगे? That is also the counterpoint to that. Okay, so these are the things that you have to understand, and right now the Supreme Court of US is going to come out with the judgment. Okay, so we have to wait and watch what exactly is going to be their point, but the reasons that they are going to explain, those are of major importance for us. So you have to keep a watch what will be the judgment. Okay, so the reasons that US court is going to look into, the reason that they will be placing, वो हमारे लिए important होगा, because the question can be framed in your GS paper 4 ethics के अंदर आएगा that what are the ethical issues that are associated with this abortion system. Okay, or you can say the maternity termination act, or the bill in India, it was also proposed. There we talked about increasing the, you can say, like tenure for termination, मतलब पहले like 12 weeks तक की pregnancy का termination allowed था, now it has been increased to 20 weeks. Okay, so ऐसा कुछ change किया है, 20 to 24 weeks, 20 to 24 weeks. Earlier 20 week pregnancy was to be termination allowed था, अब 24 कर दिया. This is how it is, but all have to be done under the guidance of the doctor. You have to consult doctor, you have to take permission from the doctor before carrying out with abortion. Now completely banning abortion, what could be the negative fallouts for that? So there are some things that you have to understand. What first thing is that right of the woman, okay, on her body, that it is up to the woman to decide. Pregnancy is not the simple activity, it is very difficult time. So if the woman is not mentally prepared for that, definitely she should have the right to take decision. This is one point here. Okay, this is one point. There can be a, you can say, case related to, suppose, rape case. Now if there is a pregnancy because of the rape case, then also the life of the woman is going to be very miserable. Agar if that child will come to, you can say, this world, like, it will be very difficult. It will be very difficult because that child is going to be the unwanted child. That's also a concern. वो भी एक concern है यहाँ पे. Okay, how society is going to deal with that, whether the government has provided any arrangement for that, क्या सरकार ने कुछ arrangement provide किया है. So those things are quite legitimate reasons. Okay, ये reason legitimate है. Counter to that, if you look into, like, what about the right of the unborn child? Okay, what about the right of the unborn child? Don't you think by aborting it, we are coming in the way of nature? It's a principle of the nature. तो ऐसा नहीं लगता कि हम नेचर के अगेंस्ट जा रहे हैं? So these are the points that you have to understand. All these things have to be looked into. ये सारे एस्पेक्ट के बाद आपको कुछ कंक्लूजन देना होगा इस पर्टिकुलर डिबेट के अंदर, whether the abortion is right or not. Okay, so these things are there. So we have to still wait and watch regarding what will be the outcome of this Supreme Court judgment of United States. Okay, so we'll move to the next part now. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं क्या बोलती है आपकी अखबार. So here we have this news. Two lynched on the suspicion of killing a cow. Okay, so this lynching is still going on, and it's a sad thing because it is an act of mobocracy. Okay, it is an act of mobocracy, not democracy. So you need to understand one thing: no one should be allowed to take law in their hands. किसी को भी allowed नहीं होना चाहिए ये. Okay, no one should be allowed to take law in their hands. When we say we are a democratic country, one of the essential principles for that is rule of law. Okay, rule of law. And somehow lynching and other activities, they are against the rule of law. That's the point here. That's the point here. Okay, so this is the important angle that you have to understand. Now, along with this point, when we say lynching, what exactly is the major problem for that? I am asking this thing to you. Do we have a law? Okay, do we have law? Do we have any penal provision, say Indian Penal Code? Do we have any provision where you are going to put the whole mob on trial, जहां आप 100 आदमियों के अगेंस्ट एक साथ केस रजिस्टर कर सकते हो? क्या कोई अरेंजमेंट है? Certainly not. So for the murder charges you have section 302. मर्डर के लिए आईपीसी का सेक्शन 302 लगता है. We don't have other arrangements. This is the point that you have to understand. That's a major concern. So this is how it is. And if you are not going to put a whole bunch of people on trial, they will be emboldened. वो embolden हो जाते हैं, उनको डर नहीं रहता है. Okay, they will be emboldened that अब तो हमें कुछ बिगाड़ सकता. And at present time, with the, you can say, technological advancement and the advancement of mobility, it is very easy. It is very easy to mobilize even say 1,000 people. बहुत आसान है, गांव वाले पूरे का पूरा एक साथ आ जाते हैं. This is the point you have to understand. So, do we have any arrangement to deal with this type of problem, lynching and all? So that's why it is required that we should come out with the specific law. एक specific कानून होना चाहिए which can create deterrence. Okay, which can create deterrence, because your existing arrangement, legal arrangement, is inadequate to deal with this type of problem. नहीं मिलता हमारे पास. पुलिस के पास जाओगे, पुलिस कितनों के अगेंस्ट मामला दर्ज करेगी? You have to understand, when the lynching is carried out, it's not just one or two people, it's about hundreds of people who are responsible for that, who are say providing moral, you can say, support to that. उन लोगों को भी आपको साथ लेके आना पड़ेगा. So this is the point that you have to understand. Okay, so that's why we need a specific law. Now we'll move to the editorial section, and this editorial is discussing about the major controversy that is going on in Tamil Nadu right now. So Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly came out with the law. Okay, they passed a bill, and right now bill will become an act only after the assent of the governor. तो जब तक गवर्नर साहब अपना असेंट नहीं देंगे, दैट बिल विल नॉट बी बिकम अ लॉ. दिस इज द प्रोविजन, दैट्स द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल आइडिया, वी ऑल नो अबाउट इट. ओके, नाउ apart from that, there are some more things that you have to understand. Now when you talk about governor ideally is a link between the union and the state. Okay, so you have union government and you have a state government, and governor is an acting link, an acting bridge between them. But we know that because of the issue related to appointment of the governor, it is said that governor is acting on the instruction of central government. Okay, that their appointment is carried out by the president, and appointment means that it's about the will of the government in power. Union में जो power में है उसके हिसाब से चलेगा मामला. So उस हिसाब से वो चलते हैं. That's the angle that you have to understand, and this is the reason why it is that governor is working on the behest of the union government. Okay, it is said that governor is not working say fairly, impartially, or union government की instruction पे काम करते हैं, ऐसा होता भी है. That's the bitter reality as well. So here there are some concerns that are being raised because Tamil Nadu legislature, they came out with a law related to the national eligibility cum entrance test bill. Okay, so they don't want this type of provision in their state, and they came out with the law. So here at present governor is not giving assent to that particular bill and is keeping that bill for the say consideration of the president. Governor has this power. If he feels that this bill or any bill passed by the, you can say, state legislature is not in line with the instructions from the union, he can keep that bill for the consideration of the president. This is what he is doing. But the point is this, there is no time frame that is mentioned in the constitution. So constitution में कुछ time frame नहीं mention है कि उस bill का at the end of the day आपको करना क्या है. And that's the major controversy here. And this is how governor is misusing it. As there is no time frame mentioned, so governor is going to keep that bill with him, अपने पास रखेंगे. So this is the problem that is coming out, and this is how with this type of working arrangement, definitely the major casualty is the governance. आपके देश में सबसे बड़ा नुकसान होता है governance का. People will pay the price. Because if this trend is followed, then this Tamil Nadu Assembly is not going to pass any law. अगर यही trend follow होता रहा तो Tamil Nadu Assembly कोई कानून ही नहीं पास कर पाएगी. How will the things function in that scenario? This is the point that is there. Okay, this is the point that is there. So Vicky Gautam is asking, should we provide security of tenure to governors so that they perform impartial without union pressure? See, that's the debate. So Vicky is saying that should we provide security of tenure, that tenure should be fixed for the governor. Now, things could be counterproductive as well. Things could be counterproductive as well. What if the government in the union is changing? अगर यूनियन में सरकार बदल गई तब क्या होगा? So it is very important that the bridge that I am talking about, that bridge should be made by the union government so that there should be smooth functioning of the government. सिस्टम स्मूथ चल सके, ये जरूरी है कि यूनियन गवर्नमेंट अपना पसंद का आदमी वहां पे गवर्नर बिठाए. This is how it is. And the point is that if you are fixing the tenure, okay, if you are fixing the tenure, then governor himself can become autocratic. Do you want that thing to happen? That governor is not going to have any control over him. He is not going to have any control over him. Fixing the tenure can be detrimental for the whole governance process. पूरे के पूरे governance process के ऊपर भी इसका impact पड़ेगा. So that angle also you have to look in. Now we will look into this editorial in detail. देखते हैं इस editorial के अंदर क्या चीज डिटेल में बताई है. Okay, so they are saying that this controversy is related to the assent issue by the Tamil Nadu governor, okay, on the question of national eligibility come entrance test. This is the problem. Okay, now you need to understand, normally giving assent to the bill passed by the legislature is a normal constitutional act performed by the governor. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती, अपना जो है वो एसेंट दे देते हैं. एंड द तमिलनाडु गवर्नर हिमसेल्फ मस्ट हैव गिवन एसेंट टू मल्टीपल बिल्स. अपने इतने साल के टेन्योर में उन्होंने मल्टीपल बिल्स को एसेंट दिया होगा, दैट्स फॉर श्योर. नाउ हियर यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द कंडक्ट ऑफ द गवर्नर्स इन सर्टेन स्टेट्स फॉलो अ डेफिनेट पैटर्न. दैट्स द पॉइंट हियर. And this is also the problem, because when you have different government, say in union there is a different party government, okay, and like in state you have another party government. At that time this type of controversy you can see will be occurring multiple times. इस type की problem आती ही आती है अगर अलग अलग parties वहां पे rule कर रही. That's the point here. Now, what is the constitutional provision that we have? So, the constitution says that governor is an appointee of the president. It means that he will be working as per the instruction of the president. He will be working, you can say, as soon as the president demands. Okay, जब president चाहेंगे governor को हटाया जा सकता है. This is the provision that is there. And there are other provisions that are there, like Article 154(1) of the Constitution provides certain powers in the governor, and specifically the executive power of the state. But he has to be, you can say, he will be working on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. He is not going to work on his own. The aid and advice of the Council of Ministers is to be followed by him. This is the point here. And I am going to take you back to the debate during the Constituent Assembly. So during the Constituent Assembly as well, there was a major debate that was carried out. Okay, that एक तो आपने CM बिठा दिया और दूसरा बिठा दिया गवर्नर. ठीक है, this is the provision that is there in the state. Now, Constituent Assembly debated this particular point, that what will be the role of the governor and why we are not having elected, you can say, not having elected governor. Okay, so that was also the point that was discussed by the Constituent Assembly. So they said that CM is going to be the elected one, and CM is going to, you can say, will have the support of will of the people. तो जनता की जो आवाज है वो तो चीफ मिनिस्टर के पास है. And in democracy people are supreme. This is how it is. So it was debated that, okay, governor should be non-elected and should be appointed by the president so that he can act as a bridge. इतना ही सिर्फ expect किया गया था. And B.R. Ambedkar, he also came out with the statements. Okay, he gave the complete explanation. So he explained the position of governor in the Constituent Assembly. He said that governor under the constitution has no functions which he can discharge by himself. And he said that no functions at all. This is what Ambedkar explained to the assembly. So they were also having this thing in their mind that governor is going to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. इस चीज को लेके आपके Constituent Assembly में clarity थी. This is what the point is. So that's why in India we have governor who is only a constitutional head. Executive power in the state is majorly exercised by the council of minister. वही चलाते हैं सारा काम. This is how it is. Even the Supreme Court has also confirmed this. So in Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab, the Supreme Court had clearly affirmed this particular point, that governor has to act on the advice of the minister. Only in few exceptional situations, he may be listened to his own will. This is how the point is. Even the Sarkaria Commission has also said this thing, that the Council of Minister, the advice of Council of Minister is deemed to be binding on the governor, कि governor के ऊपर binding हो जाएगी वो. And the same has been reiterated by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has reaffirmed this particular point, that the governor has to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Minister. That's the important point. So you need to understand, UPSC is going to ask a question in your GS paper 2. Suppose the mains related question can be asked, and there you will be using all this information, because that's the debate. So I am requesting you to note down these particular points. Those are highlighted in the yellow part. You have to note it down. These are the components for your notes. ये आपके notes का part है. You will be noting it down, what the Supreme Court has said in the Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab case, what Ambedkar has said, what Sarkaria Commission is saying, what Supreme Court has said in Nabam Rabia case. All has to be noted down by you. ये सारी चीजें आपको note down करनी है. Now you need to understand, we have Article 200, which provides 4 alternative courses of action for the governor when a bill is passed by the legislature. Suppose the state legislature has now passed a bill, and at that time, what are the different ways, what are the different alternatives that governor has? One is as simple as that he is going to give assent to the bill. कि भाई ठीक है, खुद जो है बिल को assent दे देंगे, कोई problem नहीं है. Okay. He can give his assent to the bill straight away, or he can withhold his assent. वो रोक सकते हैं और दे सकते हैं. This is the provision that he has. Another is that he can reserve the bill for the consideration of the president. This is how it is. And the fourth option is that he can return the bill to the legislature. वापिस भेज देंगे वो कि भाई मैं नहीं sign करता. Governor can also suggest new amendments. What are the respective changes? If the governor is saying that, okay, if these changes are to be made, then we will be ready to pass this particular bill. वो भी वो governor साहब कर सकते हैं. This is what he can do. And if the legislature again passes the bill without accepting any of the amendments suggested by the governor, he is constitutionally bound to give assent to the bill. उस केस में assent देना ही देना पड़ेगा. That's the point. Now the point that is wrong is this: when we consider this point that constitution has not fixed any timeline. Now you tell me one thing, if you are a constitution maker, and if you are not mentioning any timeline, should we consider that कि भी आप infinite power दे रहे हो गवर्नर साहब को कि वो कोई भी बिल पास ना करे? What do you say? Suppose if you are a member of Constituent Assembly, and if this issue is coming to you, what will be your thought process? क्या Constituent Assembly ने कभी ये सोचा होगा कि गवर्नर को infinite power देनी है, जितना टाइम हो सके वो बिल को अपने पास रखे? Okay, certainly not. We do agree with this point that Constitution has not fixed any time frame. Okay, but it doesn't mean that the governor can postpone the decision indefinitely. उसका बिल्कुल भी ये मतलब नहीं होता. And this is the wrong view if you are considering in this way. So this is the problem that is there. So when we say Indian Constitution is considered as lawyer's paradise. Okay, because there are a lot of things that are not mentioned there. काफी arbitrary चीजें हैं उसके अंदर. And this is also one of the component of those arbitrariness. But if you look into the spirit of the Constitution is for the people. Constitution जनता के लिए है. And Constitution will make sure that there is good governance. Constitution कभी भी ये नहीं कहेगा कि कोई decision मत लो. कभी भी Constitution ये नहीं बता सकता. So we cannot consider this point that no action is an option in Article 200. बिल्कुल भी उसका ये मतलब नहीं होता. It doesn't mean like that. That the governor is not taking any action. Do you seriously think your constitution is going to do this particular point? Certainly not. So this is the point you have to understand. This is the whole debate that is there, and I'm saying that it is for the Supreme Court to come out with some points. Okay, at least have some time frame, be clear about these things. Okay, तो इसीलिए इंपॉर्टेंट है कि सुप्रीम कोर्ट थोड़ा क्लैरिटी के साथ लेके आ जाए मामले को, ठीक है ना. लाइक डिसीजन मेकिंग 6 months 7 months 1 year कुछ तो हो, indefinite टाइम तक नहीं रख सकते. दिस इज द पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. Okay, so I will look into your doubt now. Pranjal is saying, sir, but sir, at the time of making constitution, it is possible that the makers had left the possibility if the governor starts acting in the areas out if his discretion is jurisdiction. Okay, see, I doubt that because this is not the debate just confined to the governor. This is also the debate between the prime minister and the president as well. So when your constitution makers, they are saying that the governor is going to be, you can say, only the constitutional head and nominal head, and major powers are to be exercised by the council of minister. So उस केस में हम कभी भी इसको ये नहीं मान सकते कि गवर्नर को हम थोड़ी extraordinary power दे रहे हैं. Yes, we do understand there are certain situations and that those situations are circumstantial. Those are exceptional situations where governor can act in his own way. He do have some discretionary powers as well. हमें पता है गवर्नर के पास discretionary power भी होती है, but those are not normal activities. Those are exceptional. Okay, and here in this case, giving assent to the bill passed by this, you can say, assembly is a normal activity. It is not exceptional. The point is this: what could be the negative point? Bill pass हो गया, act बन गया. The matter can be taken to the Supreme Court. Let the Supreme Court decide. Let the Supreme Court decide whether it is, you can say, constitutional or not. Whether it is constitutional or not. And there should be a specific, you can say, instruction for the governors that on the matters related to, say, federal principles or any other thing, कुछ क्लैरिटी तो हो कि भी सिर्फ उन्हीं मामलों पे वो बिल जो है वो रिजर्व रखेंगे. If the governor start putting every bill for the reservation of the, for the, you can say, consultation of the president, कैसे काम चलेगा? Governance कैसे होगी? That's the point. वही जो चीज है जो आपको समझनी है. Okay, वही जो चीज है जो आपको समझनी है. This is what you have to understand. This is what I was trying to say. So Vicky is saying we should come out with this law that governor must give his decision in a particular time. Yes, this is what I'm talking about, and I'm saying that, like, no doubt some action has to be taken by the parliament. I do agree with the point, but majorly Supreme Court has also come out with the timelines. अगर parliament नहीं करेगा, देखो मुझे तो कुछ उम्मीद भी नहीं होती है, ठीक है ना, because politicians, they are not going to, you can say, put hammer on their own feet. अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी या हथौड़ा नहीं मारेंगे वो, because they are the beneficiary of this system. The union government, you can say, party in power is going to use the governor for their own, you can say, goals and all. वो अपने goals के लिए governor का use करते हैं, वो कभी ऐसा कानून नहीं लेके आएंगे. That's why I am a bit hopeful from the Supreme Court, from the judiciary. This is the point. So Vanshika is saying, sir, does the governor have veto over council of minister? This is not sort of veto. Okay, this is not sort of veto, because as per the legal arrangement that is there, so first angle is this giving assent to the bill, it is the legislative activity. ये गवर्नर की legislative activity है कि अपना assent देना, ये executive action नहीं होता. Okay, this is the point. So in this particular angle, if the governor is not, you can say, considering giving the assent to the bill, that's the point. It will not be considered as veto. ये veto की तरह नहीं हम use करेंगे इसे. Okay, and at the end of the day, if the governor is again sending the bill back to the assembly to reconsider it, and if assembly passes the bill again without any changes, at that time in the second go, governor has to give his assent. बिल्कुल गवर्नर को assent देना पड़ेगा, बात माननी पड़ेगी. Okay, so this is how the debate is. This is how the debate is. So we'll move to the next part. आगे चलते हैं, देखते हैं. So here we have this news: a buyout that could make public square private. Okay, So there are few things people are having some apprehension about, you can say, the future of Twitter का क्या future होगा उसके लिए लोगों को doubt है थोड़ा. So Rahul, but I will be addressing your doubt in a while, just stick to this particular point. अभी बताता हूँ आपको. So public square private हो जाएगा, this is what people are having this in mind. So we have to wait and watch what the Twitter is going to do now. Okay, so definitely there will be some policy change that will be carried out by the Twitter. कुछ ना कुछ policy change जरूर यहाँ पे होगा. Okay, so we have to wait and watch what will be the actions that are to be taken by the Twitter. There are some people who are saying that the Twitter might have to monetize some of the activities. Okay, so right now we are having free accounts, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं होगा, कुछ changes ये शायद लेके आ सकते हैं. So ये हमें थोड़ा देखना पड़ेगा कि what exactly Twitter is going to do now. Okay, so for our UPSC perspective, this is not important, and the only important point that you have to understand, there are some issues that may appear again. Okay, so we know that these social media platforms, they are having tussle with the government rules and all. So government has a legitimate right to come out with the rules, instructions to provide governance to the social media activity. ये जरूरी है governance देना. Okay, and government is going to do that. So the point is this. Now, what will be the take by the Twitter? Because every government, not just Indian government, every government is going to come out with the rules, regulations, and Twitter has to abide by those instructions and rules. So क्या अब Elon Musk जो हैं, okay, like what exactly is he is going to do? What exactly he is going to do? This is what people have to wait and watch. So ये चीजें यहाँ पे चल रही हैं. Okay. Now, other than that, we have this news: Turkey's foreign policy reset. Okay, so here in this editorial, I will be providing some maps to you, and those maps are quite effective for your UPSC prelims. Okay, so along with that, there are some geopolitical things that we will be discussing, that what exactly Turkey is planning. Now, before starting this editorial, let me look into the doubt of Rahul Bhatt. Rahul Bhatt is saying, sir, giving time frame to the governor makes state government to do anything. Okay. I am not saying that, because definitely you have the constitutional provisions that are there. Okay, still there are multiple articles that are there in the constitution which are assuring checks and balances. So your state government still cannot act in an arbitrary manner. They still have to follow the instruction from the union. वो चीज तो as it is रहेगी ही रहेगी. I am not saying that just by, you can say, giving time frame to the governor, it is going to solve these problems, because you can say the point is this: state legislature, they have to still act as per the constitutional scheme. Otherwise, if the state legislature is failing to go by the constitution, the president rule can be imposed under article 356. बिल्कुल वो चीज की जा सकती है. So there are other protections that are available, so don't worry about it. Full power किसी के हाथ में नहीं जाती है. So again, we'll be back to this particular editorial. So here this editorial is discussing about the, you can say, geopolitical takes by the Turkey. Now there are few things that are happening. So it is not just confined to the Turkey. Because of this Russian invasion, lot of the countries, they are, you can say, changing or they are recalculating their geopolitics. सभी कर रहे हैं अपने recalculation. This is how it is. This is how it is, because no one was, you can say, no one preempted this act that Russia is going to attack Ukraine. But right now this crisis is going on, and Turkey, because of its geographical location, it is quite nearer to that particular war zone जहाँ पे लड़ाई हो रही है. And that's why Turkey is a major player, and that's why they are working on resetting their foreign policy. So what exactly they are considering, so we'll look into that. Okay, so we know that there is war that is going on in Ukraine, and Turkey's president, he was quite active to reset some of the equation, specifically with the West Asian neighbors. Okay, so they are having talks with Saudi Arab, they are having talks with other, you can say, countries like Israel and all. इन सब के साथ वो बातचीत कर रहे हैं, because there are a lot of calculations that are to be carried out. And if you look into the Turkey's situation here, political take, Turkey is a NATO member, North Atlantic Treaty Organization के member हैं ये. Okay, this is how it is. This is how it is. And there were few things that, okay, he is not happy with some ideas, and they also purchased Russian S-400 missile defense system. Turkey was also expelled from the NATO project to develop F-35 fighter jet. Okay, so उससे भी उनको expel किया, and this is how Turkey is recalculating. So look at the economy. So when you talk about economics, so Turkey is dependent on Russia for its gas import. So Russia today provides 52% of the Turkey's gas. This is what it is. 65% of its grain requirement. So Turkey has a huge dependency on Russia, and that cannot be overdone. तो ये एक important point है यहाँ पे. Okay, ये एक important point है. So Russia is constructing a nuclear power station which is going to meet 30% of the Turkey's energy needs. Their bilateral trade last year was $30 billion. It is quite good. It is quite good. Simultaneously, Turkey is also making good ties with Ukraine. Okay, अच्छे से ties भी maintained है. They are cooperating with each other. Now, there are some calculations that are carried out. Right now, Turkey has remained committed to the strategic autonomy, and it has described Ukraine conflict as a war. Okay, and like in terms of Montreux Convention, and accordingly, it has stopped the naval shipping in Bosphorus and Dendrelles Straits. Okay, so here you will look into the map. This is the Bosphorus Strait, which separates Sea of Marmara from Black Sea. This is the point. This is again the prelims related information I am giving you. Another, you can say, Dendrelles Strait is this one, which is going to separate the Aegean Sea from the Sea of Marmara. So this is what we need to understand. This is how we prepare things. So map related things are also important. So right now Turkey has stopped fishing activity over there. Okay, Turkey is not selling, you can say, fresh arms shipments to Ukraine. So this is how Turkey is playing its game. Somehow it is appearing that it is going to be pro-Russia. Somehow it is appearing that it is going to be pro-Ukraine. तो वॉर के अंदर सबसे ज्यादा मसाला कौन खा रहा है? That is Turkey. Turkey is going to reap the maximum benefit out of it. This is how they are calculating. This is how they are calculating. And there are some geopolitical angles that are also to be looked into. Now, right now, one of the ship, that is Moscow, from the Russian, you can say, Navy, that ship was sunk by the missiles used by Ukrainians. But Russia is quite active in the region. Russia is, you can say, Russia wants to project its power in the Mediterranean Sea. And at this point, you can say that Turkey and Russian interests are opposite. You can say that they are not on the same line. And this is what we have seen in the case of Nagorno-Karabakh region dispute as well, where Russians and Turkey, they both were on the opposite sides. So Azerbaijan was backed by Turkey, whereas Armenia was backed by Russia. And they were providing arms. इनको हथियार दे रहे थे, and this is how they were on the different sides. So this is how the whole activity is carried out, and Turkey is right now calculating and focusing on the naval power. So Mr. Erdogan, he has pledged that he wants Turkey to be most powerful naval force in the region. This is what he is wanting. This is what he is aspiring. And there was a major blue homeland activity, blue homeland exercise that was carried out by the Turkey. So again, this is a prelims related content, or if you are preparing for CDS, this is the important content, that blue homeland naval activity was carried out by which country. तो अगर आप CDS के लिए पढ़ रहे हो तो उसके लिए भी ये important है. Okay, so this is how we have to keep things in our mind. This is what it is. So there are a lot of recalculations that are being done. So it may be appearing that Turkey right now is also preparing a role of peacemaker. कहीं ना कहीं शांति कराने की भी बात भी कर रहे हैं. Okay, earlier it was in news that Turkey was providing arms and drones to Ukraine. भाई यूक्रेन को जो है drones provide कर रहे हैं, ये भी news में आ रहा था. So this is how the whole equation is. Sometimes it is appearing that Turkey is, you can say, supporting Russia, or sometimes it is appearing that Turkey is supporting the Western agenda. So this is what the whole picture is at present. Okay, so we'll move to the next part now. Now there is some development related to the, you can say, climate change that is going on, and we have seen this April, okay, it was one of the hottest. it was one of the hottest. Okay, so people were saying that from last 12 years, if you compare, this April was the hottest, as the average temperature was way above the 40 डिग्री सेल्सियस. ऐसी चीज जो है हमने देखी है यहाँ पे इस अप्रैल के अंदर. दैट वाज द सिचुएशन. So definitely if this climate change is going on and if April and other things are going to be hotter, okay, so it will have impact on the cropping cycle. बिल्कुल इसको impact पड़ेगा cropping cycle के ऊपर. It will impact the yield of the crops, and this is what we have observed this time. So this time in India the wheat yield is down, the mango yield is down. अप्रैल में जितना आम आता था उतना आम नहीं आ रहा है आज की डेट में. लेमन यील्ड इज डाउन. नींबू कितना महंगा हो गया है. सो जो लोग नींबू पानी के शौकीन हैं, शिकंजी जिनको पसंद आती है, उनसे पूछो आप, नींबू बहुत महंगा हो गया है मार्केट के अंदर. बिकॉज ऑल दिस इज लिंक्ड टू द क्लाइमेट चेंज एंड द यील्ड इज नॉट पिकिंग अप. दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. So these are some of the concerns, and as you can say it was the hottest April, definitely the demand for power is going to increase because people are going to, you can say, run their air conditioning and other services. तो पावर की डिमांड तो बढ़नी ही थी, और पावर की डिमांड बढ़ गई, साथ में हो गया यूक्रेन रशिया क्राइसिस. ओके, एक तरफ पावर की डिमांड बढ़ गई, ऊपर से हो गया यूक्रेन रशिया क्राइसिस. अगेन दैट वाज आल्सो इंपैक्टिंग द कोल सप्लाई इन द होल वर्ल्ड. सो this is the whole picture that you have to understand. This is the whole picture that you have to understand. So all these developments are, you can say, working right now, and this is how things are on a tougher side for us. चीजें थोड़ी टफ हो रही हैं हमारे लिए. So this is the point you have to understand. This is the point that you have to understand. ये सारी चीजें हैं जो एक साथ काम कर रही हैं. Now this is what we have here. This is what we have here. Okay. Now we'll move to the other sections of the newspaper. We will move to the other sections of the newspaper. So जब हम climate change की बात करते हैं, I hope it is quite understood that why we are focusing on, you can say, maintaining the global, you can say, warming temperature below 2 degrees Celsius, because things are going to be very tough in the coming times. अभी तो ये शुरुआत है climate change की. What will happen in 2060 or 2070? It will be very difficult to survive at that time. So we'll move to the next part now. Now Supreme Court note to decide on deferred political entry of the officials. Okay, so one petition has been filed that Supreme Court should come out with some instructions that, like, bureaucrats and other officials, they should not be allowed to, you can say, join politics just after the end of their service. So this petitioner is demanding that at least there should be some cooling off period. Okay, थोड़ा बहुत cooling off period होना चाहिए, so that, like, bureaucrat can do the justice. Okay, otherwise we have seen it multiple times. So Mumbai police commissioner, he resigned from the service and he got the party ticket. So if this is the way, definitely the senior bureaucracy can be compromised, because the parties in power, they will definitely want some favor from them, and they will say that okay, after retirement हम आपको टिकट दे देंगे, आप जो है मंत्री बन के या फिर member of legislative assembly या फिर parliament बन के बैठ जाना. So this is how it is, and in this way, because with this particular tool, the impartiality of the executive can be compromised. That's why this petition has been filed, कि किसी भी हालत में impartiality, accountability compromise नहीं होनी चाहिए. तो इन्होंने बोला कि कूलिंग ऑफ पीरियड लेके आओ थोड़ा बहुत, ओके, बिफोर दे कैन ज्वाइन पॉलिटिक्स. बट सुप्रीम कोर्ट इज सेइंग दैट, लाइक, वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू डिसाइड दिस. लेट्स द पॉलिटिशियंस एंड लेट द पार्लियामेंटेरियंस डिसाइड अबाउट दिस पॉइंट, कि भी अगर किसी को कानून बनाना है तो पार्लियामेंट लॉ बना के ले आए. ओके, पार्लियामेंट लॉ बना के ले आए इसके ऊपर. सो सुप्रीम कोर्ट हैज कैटेगोरिकली पॉइंटेड आउट अबाउट दिस थिंग. So this particular, you can say, petition was filed, and they were saying that there should be, you can say, some ethical standards under All India Services Rules of 1968, and Supreme Court has also said this. कहते हैं अगर कोई rule breach हुआ है, then the Supreme Court can look into. If the rule is not existing, तो फिर वो rule breach कैसे हुआ? कुछ नहीं हुआ. And when you talk about other ethics that are there, okay, yes, we do want civil servants, it is expected from them that they maintain ethical standards, integrity, honesty rahe, political neutrality rahe, fairness rahe, impartiality rahe. Okay, these things are required. Definitely we do we do, you can say, support these things. So the civil servants, they have to uphold accountability, transparency, integrity, impartiality, neutrality, honesty, and these things are non-negotiable. बिल्कुल non-negotiable हैं. But court has said that okay, if the parliament can come out with the law, so there is no harm in this. There is no harm in this. पार्लियामेंट अगर कानून अपना बनाना चाहता है तो बनाए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है इस चीज में, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है इस चीज में. The politicians are free to come out with this legal arrangement, but Supreme Court is not going to have any take on this. Okay, so this is how it is. This is how it is. So we do agree with this point that cooling off period is required. लेकिन Supreme Court अपने आप को पीछे हटा रहा है यहाँ से. So it is also required as well. Now you need to understand one thing here. We have a separation of power. You have legislature for a role, executive for a role, and judiciary for a different purpose. तीनों का purpose अलग अलग है यहाँ पे. Okay. So it should not be appearing that judiciary legislature के काम में हाथ डाल रहा होगा. जरूरी ये ठीक नहीं है. Law को interpret करना, definitely this is the work of judiciary. But making a law itself, this is what is not desirable. It will be a judicial overreach in that context. We don't have, you can say, हम judicial legislation को नहीं support करते हैं इंडिया के अंदर, because कानून बनाना, it is an act by the legal authority, और वो आपका legislature है यहाँ पे. Judiciary का काम कानून बनाना थोड़ी ना है. Judiciary is there to interpret it. So this is how it is. This is the whole debate is about. Inhuman situation, inhuman conditions, living conditions are not good, and you can say that human rights are definitely violated here. बिल्कुल यहाँ पे human rights violated होते हैं. Indian prisons, they are, you can say, overpopulated. Whatever capacity that they have, more than that the people are, you can say, put in prison. जितनी उनकी कैपेसिटी है हैंडल करने की, उससे तकरीबन 2 times तक भी prisoners हो सकते हैं. That's the situation here. Okay, this is how the problem is. This is what the problem is. So definitely we have to work on that. Things are to be improved. चीजें ठीक करना जरूरी है. So this is what Supreme Court is saying, that they will come out with these things. So other than that, there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay. So India, Denmark to strengthen the green strategic partnership. Okay. So yes, it is important. These countries are very important. They can help us a lot with, you can say, green technology, clean technology. So this is what it is. Okay, so right now Modi ji is on a tour of Europe, so he's going to get a lot of good deals for us. Okay, हमारे लिए काफी अच्छी deals आएंगी. So they are, India and Denmark, they are thinking of having this strategic partnership and with focusing on green hydrogen, renewable energy, waste water management. Okay, so all these things also to be looked into. These are the things that are there. Other than that, there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay. So here we have this news on this page. Recorded death rose to 81 lakh in 2020. Okay, so these are some of the statistics that are out, and but there are some concerns regarding the deaths related to COVID. Okay, क्योंकि चीजें बिल्कुल भी clear ही नहीं थी, कितनी register हुई, कितनी नहीं हुई. This is how the things were quite poor. तो चीजें बिल्कुल ठीक नहीं थी. Okay. So on the international page, we will look into this particular news. Now India extends more aid to Sri Lanka. So it's a good thing. Okay, so we have proposed fresh assistance of $200 million as a short-term loan facility. Okay, like we are also assisting them with their fuel supply and all. So this is how India is helping them. And you need to understand one thing, these things are important. Okay, because look at the policies that we have. So you have neighborhood first policy. If you look into this particular idea, like, then also we have to help, you can say, Sri Lanka. We have Sagar strategy as well. This is the other idea that we have. Okay, security and growth for all in the region. Security and growth for all in the region. You talk about your other ideas of BIMSTEC. उसकी भी बात करो. Okay, so we have a lot of things, a lot of reasons because of which we are helping Sri Lankans, and at the end of the day you have to counter China. Okay, that is also very important. China को counter करना भी बहुत important है. We don't want Sri Lanka to fall in the hands of China, as they may not be having that option. अब श्रीलंका के पास कोई option ही नहीं बचेगा तो फिर वो उनके पास ही चले जाएंगे. Okay, This is what it is. This is what it is. So that's why India is helping them out. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. So this is what it is. This is what it is. Okay. So Israel backing neo-Nazi regime in Kiev. Okay. This is what Moscow is talking about. So these developments took place और कुछ statement भी बोली गई थी which were not in right, and Israel had strong reservation regarding those statements made by the foreign minister of Russia. Okay, so this is what it is. This is what it is, and definitely every country wants to play their own politics. So if Israel is supporting the Ukraine due to some reasons, so it is as per their national and geopolitical interest. Okay, so ये सब चलता रहता है on the you can say economy page. Again there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है यहाँ पे. Okay, so we have this particular you can say news. India sets June end coal import target as power woes mount. Okay, so we have seen a major shortage of coal that was there, and there are multiple reasons. So yesterday also, or day before yesterday, I also explained that why there is a coal shortage that is taking place. So there are some domestic reasons. Okay, this is also their domestic reason, in the sense we know that how the due to coal scam and all, there are Supreme Court you can say Supreme Court restrictions that were brought. कुछ एक restrictions आ गई यहाँ पे. Okay, those cases are still pending. It means that private sector is not going ahead with the mining activity. इतने बड़े लेवल पे जितनी माइनिंग होनी चाहिए थी प्राइवेट सेक्टर के थ्रू, वो माइनिंग अभी आज की डेट में नहीं हो रही है. सो दिस इज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ द रीजन ऑफ कंसर्न. Another problem is this due to the Ukraine Russia crisis. Okay, so we have seen how this Ukraine Russia crisis has turned up. Now you need to understand, European countries, okay, earlier they were importing gas from Russia. So whatever thermal units that they were having, okay, European Union के अलग अलग कंट्री हैं, जर्मनी एंड ऑल, उनके जो थर्मल यूनिट्स थे वो गैस बेस्ड थर्मल यूनिट्स हैं. सो राइट नाउ रशिया से गैस तो नहीं आ रही है. दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम. सो दे आर रनिंग देयर थर्मल यूनिट्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ कोल. वो कोयले से अब दोबारा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी बनाने वाले हैं. सो एंड दे हैव बिग पॉकेट्स. पैसा भी उनके पास बहुत है. ओके, सो एज द डिमांड ऑफ कोल इंक्रीजेज, सो दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम फॉर द होल वर्ल्ड. इसीलिए कोयले की बहुत ज्यादा डिमांड हो रही है. बिकॉज इफ यू सी से फॉर लास्ट 5 years यूरोपियन कंट्रीज दे वर नॉट बाइंग कोल, तो इसलिए दाम कम थे. अब एकदम से उन्होंने डिमांड बढ़ गई और ये प्रॉब्लम होने लग गई. सो दिस इज व्हाट द रीजन इज. ओके, सो ये सारी चीजें आपको मालूम होनी चाहिए. ठीक है ना, ये सारी चीजें आपको मालूम होनी चाहिए. ओके, so this is the whole picture that is there related to this particular you can say news item. I hope these sessions are adding value to your preparation. Okay, so Vicky Gautam is asking, sir आपका कैमरे का क्या हुआ? So the point is this, देखो कैमरे में अगर मेरी शक्ल देखोगे तो डाटा ज़्यादा यूज होगा. ठीक है ना. We are making sure that we should have you can say problematic session delivery to you. और उसके लिए कभी कभी हमें जो है डाटा के यूजेज को कम करने के लिए अपनी फ़ोटो हटानी पड़ती है. ओके, मोबाइल डाटा के ऊपर जब हम चलाते हैं तो उसमें थोड़ा एक तरीके से बाउंडेशन आ जाती है. एंड टुडे इन द मॉर्निंग इट वाज रेनिंग, सो थोड़ा बहुत मौसम भी ख़राब था. दैट्स व्हाई आई एम नॉट टेकिंग अ रिस्क. तो कुछ फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता मेरी शक्ल दिखे कि ना दिखे. डेफिनेटली आवाज़ मेरी ही है. ओके, सो डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. And there will be no compromise on the content delivery. So most important thing that you have to understand, UPSC preparation में आपके लिए टीचर का चेहरा important नहीं होता, कंटेंट और अंडरस्टैंडिंग important होती है. Okay, so this is the point that you have to understand. I hope I am justified with the reasons. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.